Welcome to the Badger Beer Report for Brewer Report for June 30th, 2026. We are going to have updates from all around the great state of Wisconsin. We got some updates coming from Milwaukee. We got a few updates coming from Milwaukee. One of the big three is making some moves. We're going to have, we're going to talk about Seymour, Wisconsin, West Bend, Wisconsin. We're going to have updates from Madison here near close to me. We have extensions, we have buildings, and we also have my colleague, Joel Geyer, who is the director of brewery relations and research and the author of the book, Lights Across America. Hi, Joel.
Hey, Greg, how are you doing?
Good. So without further ado, we got some bittersweet news coming out of the local craft beer scene involving a massive name in the industry, a nationwide name. Word is Untitled Art known for their incredible sour stouts and massive non-alcoholic lineup, is shutting down operations, Joel.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is one that a lot of people know for a variety of reasons. In many ways, to me, so they've been around now for a decade, just over a decade. And when they came onto the scene, they really had something kind of unique going where they were at the forefront of doing these massive collabs. And they did collabs with these really big names all over the country. You know, we're talking about, like, I know they did like with Jester King, with Drecker. Like, they were doing names with big name breweries before they themselves were a big name. They do not have their own physical brick and mortar location. They've been with Octopi and brewing there during their entire time. But yeah, so I mean, it's a big loss. I mean, with their contract brewing, they became very well known for many of their beers, as you said. They've also, in more recent years, their flavor line and their seltzer line. They also became very well known for those as well. So make sure to stock up on it. We'll be following up. Untitled Art themselves has not posted and given us kind of more information. So if we learn more, we will be sure to share that when the time comes.
Yeah, and we do have to say, right, they were contract brewing out of there.
Yep.
So they could take this contract somewhere else, right, Joe?
Yeah. Well, I mean, and this is also the situation. Octopi just last year, or 2 years ago, 2024, was acquired by the global giant Asahi Beer. And I don't know if that may have shifted things in terms of, what type of markets they were working with, how some of these contracts are going with the contract brewing. Because a lot of breweries do. I mean, that is a huge facility there in Waunakee. So yeah, I think this is just one domino, and we will hopefully find out more about exactly what happened and what the future is for Untitled Art.
Yeah, and on a happier note, a legendary Green Bay staple is making a move south, or made the move south. Titletown officially opened its highly anticipated second location over last weekend, Joe.
Yes. So here, we'll pull that up. So yeah, I mean, this was a pretty quick flip around in terms of when they announced it, earlier this year to opening. And it was in many ways a, step in and open the doors situation, because they were taking over what was formerly the 1840 brewing location that was built in downtown West Bend. And they just had the grand opening this past Friday. So over the weekend, they opened the doors, and it's a really nice location there in downtown. 22,000 square foot outdoor patio, and part of it's covered. I know that they're going to hopefully have some elevated, pub food and lots of their classic craft beer lineups. They've got quite a few beers that have become well known in their 3 decades of business. You can see, for people watching there up on the screen, you can see a map there that it truly is right there in downtown West Bend. We talked about, I know at length, that West Bend lost both their breweries last year. And so Titletown, I know that the West Bend community has been very excited to welcome Titletown to West Bend. So I know one and both of us will hopefully get there at some point here in the nearest future. But for now, we are excited for Titletown and excited for West Bend.
Yeah. Our notes say it's what 6,300 square feet spot on the river there. It's a beautiful. You were there at when it was 1840, right?
No, I never got there when it was 1840 either.
Okay. That so it features a huge 22 square foot outdoor patio. Y'all, half of it's covered, so you're gonna worry about that. They got an arcade games. They got food. It just sounds like a really good deal for West Bend. We heard some bumps. The social media said that there were some bumps, but you will have some bumps as an opening. So, but it seems like everything's running good. I haven't heard anything from Scott lately. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
I'm sure he's got his hands full.
we also got our eyes on Allegheny County, where a brand new spot called Dairy-Air Brewing is getting ready to turn on the taps. Joel, what do you know about this one?
Yeah, so I actually reached out and I talked to Tad today. I had talked with him earlier as well, and he told me that they are planning to open up here in the coming weeks. Mid-July will be opening is what they have. They have some dates currently in mind. Nothing is fully solid, but he said just want to make sure that everything in the serving tank, they have everything in the serving tanks before we announce them. He said when they do announce them that the plan will be that there will likely be a soft opening on some sort of Tuesday, grand opening on a Friday. You may want to check our channels. We currently are planning on having Tad on most likely Tuesday next week. He will hopefully have a very firm grand opening date at that point, and we will do a little live stream announcement to break that news for the folks there in the Seymour community and around that whole area. So, yeah, I mean, this is one that I know Tad's been chomping at the bit to get done. We've been following along for pretty much, I mean, since before they really had a building hardly. A couple of years at least. So very excited to see the finished product. We've kind of gotten some videos of him. He takes some videos in there, but I'm excited to get some nice pictures and kind of see how the whole space turned out. And yeah, excited for the community of Seymour to get their first craft brewery.
Yeah, apparently Seymour is self-proclaimed the home of the hamburger, and that's a good mix with beer, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to argue that. I can't recall. I don't believe they're having food right off the back. I have to double check that with Tad. He'll confirm that when we talk to him again.
We've been following this tight. He's gonna have pretzels and pizzas and things
That's
like
right.
that.
Yeah.
Until he gets some food carts in and trying to establish them. But yeah, so down in Milwaukee, the craft scene continues to expand. We have a familiar face reaching out on his own new project called Treeline Brewing. Joel, do you want to give us a little bit for those who don't know about Treeline? Give us a little bit of background and then tell us what the update is, please.
Yeah, for sure. So Treeline, for people that recall, was announced a few months back. This is the project by Nick Guthrie, who was formerly the head brewer at Broken Bat. He also worked at Third Space. So he has his brewing chops, built up around the area here. He is originally from this area. The community, the neighborhood where Treeline is, Enderus Park, is essentially like, I forget if it's the exact neighborhood or like the neighboring neighborhood to where he grew up. So this is an area and a community that he has always had a dream of opening up a brewery in. So it's all very exciting. And I talked to him today to get some updates from him. Okay. And
my bad. I'll do it.
Yeah, you got it.
There you go.
So Nick said that got a lot of work going on right now. The floors are being prepped to be refinished. New door should be in by the end of the week. And then wall and bar build out will start. He also told me that got our patio brick and the block for the walls are coming tomorrow. He also attached a bunch of pictures. We will be posting these on Facebook tomorrow at some point, so you can see them a little bit easier, most likely. But you can see some of the progress being made. Nick did tell me we shot not too long after they had the building purchased and they were getting everything kind of cleaned out. We did a little video walkthrough tour setup where I interviewed him inside the space. And once the flooring's all in and a little more progress has been made, I will be going back down to do some more video. It's going to be fun that we're going to have these kind of videos that showcase all these different steps in the brewery build out process, because you have a renovation here that is basically stripping down a building to essentially the studs and now rebuilding it back up to the way he wants it to be. And yeah, just really exciting stuff for Nick. We will have more. I know he posted a couple other angle pictures on the Treeline social media account. He's pretty good about posting on there. So if you're not following Treeline on Facebook in the Milwaukee area, you should go do that. But yeah, soon to be Milwaukee's newest brewery, because he's hoping to get in here still this year, Greg.
Yeah, they're aiming for a launch later this fall.
Yes.
So let's stick with Milwaukee here. The crew at Radix Fermentation, and I got it right for the first time. Known for their incredibly unique, wild, and spontaneous oak-aged beers, is making some moves, getting closer.
Yes, and for the people that are in the community there, I should clarify, it is technically Cudahy, so we want to make sure that the people that live there, they don't have their own brewery yet, so they are finally getting their one. It's right down the street from us, our friends at St. Francis Brewing, who are part of the class of 2025 collab. This was another one that I went in and met up with Adam and did a little video interview / tour of the space. And I'm sure that this will be another opportunity where we'll do that again here in the future. This is the old firehouse that is there, the old Cudahy firehouse. And they've been doing, so for those that, if you're first time listening, Radix has been around for quite some time, but they've been doing much more smaller batch stuff, doing pop-ups. They've brewed it like Mobcraft. Adam's still been brewing for Mobcraft as well. So they make some really great stuff. I am a big fan of their beers, some great Belgian stuff, some very interesting mixed fermentation sour type beers. So this is going to be really cool. They've got the huge firehouse garage doors. They're going to be able to go up. And I guess I should, before I go any further, I should get to Adam's actual quote that he gave me today when I reached out. He said that we've got steady progress in the build out. I'm almost done building our cooler. New floors are done and the drywall is up. Just working on the tile work for the bathrooms and finishing the bar now. It's getting close. So Radix sounds like it's a bit closer to the finish line than Treeline, which makes sense. Radix has been working longer, has been there longer than Treeline. But hopefully Radix is, on the home stretch, or if not on the home stretch, they at least can see the home stretch from where they are. But yeah, very excited about this one. Both of these, like I said, although it's technically Cudahy, it is Milwaukee area here. And it seems like Milwaukee's about to get, two really excellent breweries to open up here before the end of 2026.
Yeah. And actually heading back to Milwaukee proper, Milwaukee's absolute icons are getting together getting ready to open an outdoor upgrade just in time for the heat of the summer. What is the latest at Lakefront Brewing?
Yeah, so Lakefront has been doing a much needed expansion on their outdoor area. Obviously, people know that they've got the beautiful upper decks and kind of the area right directly along the river. But the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel recently published some additional pictures that showcase the progress that is being made on the outdoor area that is going to be directly adjacent to Lakefront Brewery. For those that have visited Lakefront Brewery, you know that there has been that vacant lot next to the brewery basically forever. And Lakefront has now been able to transform it into what will be a very nice outdoor space. There's going to be picnic tables and just a lot of extra outflow area, which they desperately need, especially for some of their larger events like MyFest that they just hosted when I was there. It was just insanely packed, even like outside, just like standing room only. They need all the space they can get, Greg. And for families, I know this is going to give families a little more space if they want to be outside with the kiddos and everything. And I mean, one of the best parts is you're still right there on the river. So it's going to be a beautiful spot. And I mean, we know Lakefront's an OG. They make amazing beer. And I'm sure that this addition to their venue will be excellent.
Absolutely. And so we got a few updates from the Northwoods. Joel, one we kind of slipped on, and we'll get to that in a second. But what we didn't slip on is so there's a rebuild coming, Joel, here with Trap Door.
Trap Rock. Yeah, there's something happening here.
We lost to January, right?
Yeah.
And so what's going on here?
Well, it's interesting. They've got some beer and they're still promoting beer. They've been just kind of promoting some small samples, but because someone asked, where are you brewing and are you still distributing? And neither yet, sir, was the reply. Talking about some of the beers are still on tap. So I'm guessing that was from the previous, when the brewery was still open. There's not concrete information in terms of where this is headed, on if this is going to be a full resurrection, if this is going to be a contract situation where they get a little bit of beer out and distro, or if this is just, going to kind of be however he wants to do, small batch type of things. But either way, we will be keeping our eyes on Trap Rock, because like we said, we covered them as when they closed, and it seems like they are, the nails are not in the coffin quite yet, it would seem.
And listen, let's take it all as a whole here quick, because we had some nerve transferring. We have what's the one in Osseo? I'm
Northwoods
rebooting themselves.
Yeah.
Yes, we posted something there. And the one that we dropped the ball on, and it's my fault, actually, I will take full responsibility, is Round Man got sold and now is at the Smokehouse. And should be visiting there. We'll get to that in a second. I should be visiting there this weekend, so we'll get a full update on the ground. I don't know if I'll be able to meet anybody there, but what I will do is have some barbecue and taste the Round Man beers. So I will give you a full update on that. But Round Man did a little dance too.
Yeah, we did.
We didn't lose one. Right. So like it seems like the Northwoods are circling the wagons, for lack of a better word, and doing their best not to lose any, if that makes sense. We got transfers, we got revivals. So there's a lot of really interesting things going on in the Northwoods up there, Joe. Do you have any comments on Round Man or any of this in general?
No, I mean, we did kind of talk about Round Man, but it was kind of a weird situation because we weren't fully sure about exactly how that was going to look. We knew that they were transitioning to the barbecue place and how that was all going to look. And yeah, I mean, some of them obviously, like Northwoods is a full like rejuvenation, and then some nerve. The sale was not because of issues within the brewery; it's because our good friends, decided it was time to retire. And kudos to them. So that was a good situation where someone seemingly wanted to be able to step in, and it seemed like a good match. So yeah, we're happy for all the Northwoods breweries that are, continuing to make progress up there.
Yeah. Too many times we see a brewery go and not really actually get to, get to sell. We've seen a bunch not be able to sell, and we have a bunch on the market now that haven't sold, for lack of a better word, or, you know what I mean? So, I'm just grateful for, and I think, especially the small communities in the Northwoods should be grateful for all these revivals and all the things that are being happening to keep those brands and those community spaces open. So, speaking of brands and community spaces, Joel, we have a surprise announcement for y'all,
and a surprise guest.
Surprise guest. But the surprise announcement, y'all, is that we have a collaboration here with our friend Trevor at Inventors Brew Pub, and we're going to bring Trevor on right now to tell us all the details. Wait, Trevor's head is okay. I see it. Okay. I didn't see it in the when you were in the green room. I just saw this. Hey, Trevor, how you doing? Nice to see you.
Good to see you guys. How are you?
Good. So, Trevor, about what was it last year? You and I got into a discussion about how I wanted somebody to brew our Badger Beer Report anniversary beer this year. For the record, y'all, Badger Beer Report, the project, y'all, is about a year and a half old. We started in, what was it, Joel? January
25, yeah.
Badger Beer Hour and Report has been going on for 6 years now. So this is the first time that I've been wanting a collaboration beer, and Trevor and I talked about it, and Trevor's like, let's brew two.
Like
wait. I was like, I just want one. And Trevor's like, let's go with two. So we came up with two ideas. One of them I came up with. And the other one, this guy over here came up with. And you're going to be really surprised that what Joel came up with, because y'all know who Joel rolls with. But this is Joel rolls with a lot, actually. How about that? But Joel does have his favorites. But Trevor, again, thank you for joining us. And do you want to take the story from here?
Oh my,
what's going on?
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of cool things about this. I think the number one thing, obviously, is that it's an all Wisconsin Pilsner. So we used malt from Sheboygan. There it is, laminar flow. We used malt from Sheboygan. We used hops from Wisconsin Hop Exchange. We used yeast that was cultured in Wisconsin by Nick over at the Yeast Bay, which you used also in your class of 2025 collaboration, and obviously water. So that's super cool. I think it's not easy to pull off an all Wisconsin beer, period.
Yeah, and before we got to the beer, let's talk about real quick. We'll bring back Joel for the second beer, but let's talk about the inspiration. So the inspiration was Trevor and I were going back and forth, and I proposed, Trevor, that we that the Turbo Tap, y'all, is so the Turbo Tap is an invention that was invented here in Wisconsin. And the premise of that, y'all, is this. Matt Yankel. Am I saying Yankel, right? I'm saying his name right. Yes. He was a student, y'all, at he's a student at UW. And he was waiting in line at the terrace for some beer. And he was like, the lines were too long. I don't know if y'all been in the terrace, but before the Turbo Tap, the lines were long. You would be waiting. So he and a bunch of his boys got together and built a better tap. It's called the Turbo Tap. And what happened was this thing took off, and now it's in the United Center. Now it's in Wrigley Field. Now it's in major stadiums where we need that beer to be pumped out fast, right, Trevor? So Trevor was like,
it'll fill a pint in like 2 seconds. It's insane.
Yeah. So, since Trevor works for Inventors Brew Pub out of Port Washington, Joel and I wanted to approach him with two Wisconsin inventors. Y'all know how passionate Joel and I are just about Wisconsin history and all that. So that's where the idea came from. Trevor, do you want to expound any more on what I missed about the inspiration for this beer? And then if you want to get back more into it.
I think certainly one of the coolest things about it is that, for the most part at Inventors, we name beers after inventors that are dead. And in this case, it's kind of exciting to name a beer after somebody who is alive.
Amen.
That's super cool. I mean, he's a super nice guy, and it's been a lot of fun just going back and forth with him and talking about it. Yeah.
So let's just talk about real quick, and then we'll get Joel on here to talk about quote his beer or the beer that he helped you formulate with. But
I like how you locked in a room for a while.
Yeah, we got this is gonna be so the beer is gonna be dropped on July 31st, y'all, in Port Washington. And this is gonna be an event, Trevor, because our inventor's coming in potentially in a different way than driving, right?
There is the potential that he will bring his sailboat up. He loves Port Washington. He loves sailing into Port Washington. It's a great harbor, and so there's potential that he may sailboat up, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, we'll be down there. We'll be there tracking all that, and then once he comes, he's going to give a presentation right about the Turbo Tap, and we're going to have some back and forth.
Yeah. So he's going to speak for about 20 minutes or so about the Turbo Tap. I'm sure he has not told that story very often, at least not in the recent past. So I'm sure he'll be excited to talk about laminar flow and fluid dynamics and all the cool things that inspired the Turbo Tap for sure.
Yes. And I think we can say that, of course, y'all, we're trying to get this beer at the Memorial Terrace. Things are in the works for that.
Yeah, if you're
So
ready, come on now.
yeah,
Let's get it on tap. More
yeah,
people.
that'd be great because that's where the inspiration started. So it's time to bring Joel back here. And Joel, what is the inspiration? And y'all, I'll drop out of here, and y'all can talk about the second beer. So this beer, Trevor, the laminar flow was brewed on your bigger batch system, right?
That's correct. The Pilsner was made on it's a little bit over 10 barrels.
And we'll be able to see maybe some of that at the Great Taste of the Midwest.
Oh, definitely. You would definitely
Oh,
get some at the Great Taste of the Midwest, for sure.
oh. Well, on that note, I'll let Joel take over from here.
Yeah, because Greg knows I'm a big, simplicity lager guy, but I also do enjoy some fun beers. And part of it was looking into inventions in Wisconsin that maybe dealt with, some sort of food product. And lo and behold, that led us to William Horlick, who got the patent for malted milk down in Racine. And folks down there may even know that, William Horlick has an entire high school named after him in Racine. So, he's still a pretty big deal down there. But I'm also just a big fan of malted milk. Growing up, I loved it. Could not get enough of it. And not just talking like in malts, like an ice cream. I could just eat that crap plain. I was obsessed with it. And so we talked about, well, what can we do? Obviously, it wasn't that hard of a decision once we kind of thought about the malt to decide what route we were going to take in terms of it being a stout. And then I think when we talked about it, you kind of wanted to lean into it because it is, malted milk is now, it was not always the case, but it is now often associated with desserts with like malts and, all that kind of good stuff. So we kind of wanted to lean into it being kind of a dessert pastry stout. But when I approached you about this idea, what was kind of your first thought in what the beer would look like?
Oh, well, so you're familiar with Breeze Malting, which is out of Manitowoc and / Chilton. And they always are handing out the most amazing malted milk balls ever. They're crazy good. And so that's what I always think of because I grew up on malted milk balls. Like they were just whatever. They weren't very exciting. But these things are like the gourmet version. And so that's what I was like, oh, I would love to do a pastry stout like this. And so I happened to be at CBC in Philadelphia, talking to the guys, talking about this beer, whatever, and they sell the malted milk powder. So normally, when you make a pastry stout, you're going to use lactose in it. But instead of using lactose, we actually use the malted milk powder, which is what a sweet thing. I mean, what a perfect, like, everything just really came together perfectly on this beer, and it's very exciting to actually use the real malted milk powder to give it that sweetness and to also bring that malted milk flavor into a what's essentially an imperial chocolate stout.
Yeah, because it is going to be, that is one thing for folks. This is, you're not going to need to sit down and have 3 pints of this. It's a bigger beer.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it's getting bigger all the time. So one of the things that there's this concept called chaptalization, where over time you feed a little bit of sugar to the beer. It kind of re-energizes the yeast and it eats that sugar and just kind of like you kind of like just sort of toy with it, keep that beer rolling. And so what was going to be like a 9.5 10% beer is now more like an 11, maybe 11.5% beer.
Well, this is going to be a big boy.
Yeah, so we're just like slowly cooking it along, just feeding it just enough to make it pop off, and yet it's still gonna retain, that malted milk flavor and the chocolate. It's pretty dang yummy.
Yeah, I mean, and for people though, like Greg was talking about the laminar flow being on the bigger system. This is going to be a more limited availability beer. So if you want to have Williams malted pastry stout, you should probably for sure come to our event July 31st. And I know we haven't discerned, there's a chance it may be a time tapping or something. Great taste, we'll see. But if you want to be certain to try it, I would come on July 31st and order it. And we'll see. We may even have some malted milk balls, some malt ring. We'll see. We're gonna have some fun with it because it is a fun. It's supposed to be a fun beer. Because then I think that was one thing with these collabs that we kind of had the yin and the yang with, is that we have the more traditional, the beer flavored beer, and then we have something that just is on the other end of the spectrum. It's not completely, crazy, but it certainly is not your typical beer by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, that's a really cool way to put it, because we're definitely thinking about like having something that's very, Pilsner, it's very traditional. It's very, in the box. Although this one is a little bit different. And I think people who get a chance to try the pills will not only enjoy it, but also be, hey, this is just a little bit different than some of the other pills I've had around the state. But then also to have like the crazy beer on the side, which is fun and interesting and decadent.
Yeah, well, I mean, and that's the one that you might want to do an 8 or 10 ounce pour of the pastry stout, and then you can order a pint or two of the, the Pilsner. And or actually, you may want to do the Pilsner first, depending on how your palate adapts to the, the big stout. But you can probably, you'll be fine either way. I'm excited to try both of them. I know, obviously, like I said, I was the one that kind of spearheaded and talked about the malted pastry, but I'm just as excited for the German Pilsner. The entire Wisconsin ingredient angle is so much fun. And yeah, I mean, like I said, we'll be promoting it, but July 31st, people need to be there to be able to try both these beers, because especially the Williams malted pastry stout will not be sticking around for a super long time.
Yeah,
especially if a lot of people show up.
I mean, that's definitely the kind of beer that we will go through very fast. So
yes.
If folks want to try it, I would highly suggest showing up for the event on the July 31st. It pops off at 4:00. Is that correct?
Greg, do you have the exact time? Is it 4 or 5?
Something like that. What we need to do.
Details.
Well, what we need to do is we'll make an event and we'll invite everybody.
Just hold up fingers. 4 or 5. 4, 10. 4 to 10.
9, 8.
7.
Just show up on July 31st, pitch a tent. Just show up in the morning on July 31st and hang out. Port Washington is a beautiful city to hang out. Just hang out for the day and just continuously wander by. You're right there on the harbor by downtown. Just wander by Inventors, and whenever you see Greg and I wandering in, then you know it's go time.
Right. Or the big sailboat rolling into the harbor.
Yeah.
You'll know. Then you'll know. That'll be your sign.
All right, Trevor. Thank you. We'll see you soon.
Talking. He's
Check.
saying something.
Yeah. Can you hear it?
No.
See ya.
Yeah. But we were saying that we appreciate you coming on to pop on here and talk about the beers. And I know that we will be seeing and talking to you again here soon.
Yeah, totally. Thanks for having me on.
Awesome. Talk to you later, Trevor. Cheers. Oop. All right. And
can you hear me now?
Yeah, no, you're good. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that's gonna be fun. We'll,
so fun.
Keep your eye out on our social
11%,
media.
Greg.
Keep your eye out on our social media, on Venters and us. We'll get those details for you for the 31st, Friday, July 31st in Port Washington. The big Badger Beer Report party goes off. Yes, yes, yes. And so speaking of parties, Joel, we have some July anniversaries to celebrate.
Yeah, July is another big month for anniversaries. Not quite as big as last month in June, but still quite a few, including 3 from last year, 2 of which were secondary locations. But our friends up at Sway, congrats, Matt, celebrating his 4th anniversary this month. I'm a big fan of Sway, or I guess technically it's still going to be next month, but essentially this month. Potosi is 2008. People forget, down there in the far southwestern corner of the state. Good friends at Venture, One Barrel, we're covering their expansion right now into De Pere. So, and all topsy-turvy that we are going to be doing kind of the collab off that we talked about for Great Taste. Eagle Park with their move to Muskego. So yeah, lots of great breweries celebrating this month. Be sure to check them out. Many of them will have events at some point this month, I am sure. So, whether it's Facebook or Instagram that you get your updates, you be sure to follow along with your local breweries for that.
The most ironic one is agonic.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's a fun one for sure. So, Joel, you have some things you want us to keep an eye on.
Yeah, so I mean, these are just a couple. Nicolay Ale Works, that's another the De Pere brewery. I was reached out to them here just a few days ago, and they're making good progress. They don't have anything super substantial. They told me to reach back out kind of into late next month into August, and we will hopefully have more information then. We don't have a specific timeline yet with Turtle Stack with their new facility there in Alaska. Ope, I know is, I'm sure they're closing in on Appleton. Solemn Oath, I've reached out again. We still do not have a lot of word on that. But then Foxtown, every time I drive into downtown and down to the lake in Milwaukee, I'm driving by and seeing the steady progress being made along the river. And yeah, I'm so excited about that one when the time comes for them to open.
Okay, I was wondering. That was the one I was like, wait, why is that one there? That's not going to be here until next year.
No,
I was like, oh.
When I drive by, I continuously see a little bit of progress being made.
Again, I was like, why is that there? And that's because Joel's excited. But y'all got to temper y'all a little bit on that one because
it's not as limited as some of the other
27 one, but yeah, it's a 27 one, but it's probably going to be square footage wise. Maybe bigger than all the 27 breweries combined. That's a massive, massive project that's been going on forever. When that comes over the gate, it's just going to be wild. So, what isn't wild is this number.
Yeah, so this is the updated. It had been, I guess, a little while. I hadn't fully updated the numbers properly until recently, and so this is where we currently stand at 273 overall, 207 of the individual breweries, and then you see we are sitting at 39 for tap rooms and 27 in kind of the other contract category. So some good stuff going on, and we're just continuing to plug away, and we'll hopefully be adding to those, at least a couple of those numbers here pretty soon.
Yeah, and so one of the things that some of the DMs that I get from y'all and some of the inquiries are we want to know where y'all have been or where y'all go to. Y'all do definitely ask us, places to go when you're, traveling different places. So this weekend I am doing a road trip, y'all. I'm headed up to the western part of Wisconsin there, y'all. You see the green ones are the ones that I'm definitely going to. You're going to see if you zoom in there, which I'm not going to be able to, but it's basically Avery Ale Works and Balsam Lake Market and Oliphant and Agonic, and under there Chippewa Falls there. That red, that yellow one. Yellow is for maybe I'll get to it. Definitely under there is Liney Lounge, and then the most northern one is Strongman Barbecue, where the new Round Man is. So that's what I'll be doing this weekend, y'all. I will have updates on that. Check our social media throughout the whole weekend. Starting on Friday, I'll be back on Sunday. So yeah, we'll do that. And then so this is a look at all the stops that I have made this year so far, 2026. Looks like 61. Yeah, I've been getting around, y'all. I'm going for 100. We'll see if I make it. I probably should make it. But this is just the idea of, getting to as many breweries and tap rooms as we can, Joel, to make sure we know what's going on. We can't figure out what's going on or know the vibe of the scene if we're just sitting and not moving around. And here's Joel stops here. So, obviously Joel lives in Milwaukee, and obviously his stops are there, but also a lot of those stops correspond with a lot of the content that y'all see on Patreon or to our front. So there's that between Joel and I basically together almost have 100 stops in Wisconsin this year. Joel, do you have any comments about your stops, my weekend? What's going on with the map? We love maps. You're going to be seeing more maps from us. In fact, Joel and I have somehow we have not pushed out as many maps as we want to, but y'all know the opening and closing map. But we got maps all over the place. What's up, Joel?
Yeah, I mean, well, like you said, I mean, it's we do want to get out there because there's only so much that can be done where you're doing like virtual interviews or following accounts on social media, having the boots on the ground, trying the beer directly at the brewery, meeting up with people in person. That is how we want to build Badger Beer Report up. And that's important to both of us, I know. And I feel like that is also how we've been able to make a lot of good connections is by, not only meeting people virtually or meeting people at different events, but then following up and going and visiting these places and spending the time to do so. But yeah, we, continue to get to Wisconsin breweries as best we can and continue to cover them the best we can. And we enjoy doing that and getting to share that with everybody.
Absolutely. And it's fun seeing all those dots, Joel. A lot of times we're just going. So it's really fun to see what it looks like. And then I don't know, maybe one day I can get Joel to show his out of Wisconsin one, y'all. Because my out of Wisconsin is like a little
yeah, mine's pretty crazy.
Joel does, and that's part of the reason why Joel's Wisconsin is tight, because when he's here, you know what I mean, he's home.
Well, it's more so just that I have the two kids in school. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but again, you get out more than that, though, is the point.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really matter because whoa, what happened to Joel? Wait, what happened? Did Joel leave? Wait, what's going on? Wait, Joel left. Oh, well, I don't know. I guess he got excited and left. Or I think he hit a button, but no. So wait. Oh man, I lost the Brewery Report. Here comes Joel. Yeah, so look, you get the guys talking about breweries and he gets really excited.
It booted me. I don't know what happened there, but I'm back.
Yeah, I don't know what. Yeah,
I didn't click anything. My hands weren't even on the computer.
But lastly, Joel, before we get out of here, I know you love to talk about Patreon, so let's send this off with that.
Yeah, absolutely. People that are listening, following us right now, we are continuing to pump out content on Patreon. It has been, obviously a slow burn. We would love to get more people over there to support us. I have the weekly newsletter that is going out every Thursday with lots of great information, interviews, news stories, beer releases, brewery write-ups, all that kind of stuff. There's other articles that, Greg and I are both writing that are only on Patreon, that are not shared with the general public. There's all sorts of other video content, and a lot of good stuff. And most importantly is that you are supporting Greg and I in doing this and trying to turn this into a real thing. So yeah, we love doing what we do. And we hope that, we can continue to get support from folks that are enjoying it.
Absolutely. And on that note, Joel,
whether it's where you are visiting or where you're living, be sure to drink local everywhere. Cheers, everybody.